Yo, 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 what it is, we back. Hit that like button, man. Alright, y'all, we finished the white on white crime month is over. Yeah, I think we did a pretty good job. I think we did a pretty good job celebrating white on white crime month. It's the month of September. You know, it's only right. It's only right, to give, you know, proper attention to real issues. Yo, today, yo, we gotta talk about Cassie. Cassie needs to stop. I don't know what the fuck go. I don't know what has gotten into Cassie. Her freaky ass. Shit's getting out of control. Yeah, I'm starting to think, yo, maybe Cassie is not moving on her own word. Like, maybe Cassie is being like a puppet. Yo, why the fuck she keep writing letters to the judge, man? Yo, Cassie was a co-conspirator in this whole situation. She wasn't no victim. You know what I mean? Let's get that out of there off the rip. Cassie was not a victim. She was way too involved, way too complicit, way too willing to ever be classified as a fucking victim. She wasn't forced to do anything. She wasn't forced. It was actually the opposite. She might have forced Diddy, you know what I mean, to do some things he didn't want to do. Things came out in the trial where she was trying to freak off, and Diddy was like, "Oh, you gotta work. No freak off today." You heard the sex workers. You know how aggressive she was. On the bench and on the interviews that they did. But Diddy's sentencing is coming up real soon, and it's like every hearing he has, here go Cassie writing another note. Like, what the fuck is she doing, Cat? Like, guys, like she done did enough damage. Or you done extorted the man for $20 million. Got another 10 million from the motherfucking from the hotel. You $30 million richer. You up like a motherfucker. Why are you so worried about? Maybe she think Diddy gonna come back for some of that money. Now I'm thinking about it. Maybe that's why every time Diddy go to court, Cassie has something to say, because Cassie is upset that when Diddy gets home, and he's gonna come home one day, I mean, whether it's short term or long term, I think it's gonna be short term. That he's gonna come back and try to sue her for some things that she did. Because Cassie on some bullshit. Hit that like button, y'all. Share the live. Now, let's check out Tisha Tell's lives, and then we're gonna go to the paperwork ourselves. Cause I gotta read this letter that she wrote. Telling she in fear for her life and all type of shit. Why was she so like? Why now are you in fear for your life? She wasn't in fear for her life. The 6 years after relationship when her and Diddy was still in the streets. Like, where's all the fear coming from? Is she in fear for her life because she knows she fucked up and she did some flawed shit? Like, yo, she got $30 million, yo. She should never been on that stand. Like, you trying to do him bad twice. You already stung his pockets. Yeah, for real though, yo. Yeah, that shit crazy. How the fuck she scared $30 million later? Shit, you can relocate. High security. You got money now. Enjoy it. But yeah, she's still trying to fuck you over. Now, I'm sure Tisa Tells did some lying over this motherfucker, so let's see what she said. I'm sure she over this bitch celebrating. Check out old Tisa Tells lies. What's up, real facts? Cassie says she fled New York because of Diddy. Come on, she gonna make 17 videos out the shit. Just make one video. We're gonna read the paperwork out down. So, you know, she be too animated. The fuck? And the prosecution is asking for crazy amounts of jail time that they know it's good and goddamn well they ain't getting. And YouTube playing with my numbers, y'all. They ain't like my white on white crime videos. Talk about across the line. It be alright though. It's October now. We just had to finish September. I was strong, man.
I started my degree in 1986, 30 years.
The month of September is white on white crime month. Make sure y'all spread the word. It's when we shed light on all the white on white crime that's going on in America.
Oh my God, you guys, come in here, sit down and shut the door. The prosecution has recommended Diddy for 135 months in prison. Y'all, that's almost 11 years. You guys, if you don't know, Diddy's sentencing day is October 3rd on Friday. You know your girl's gonna be covering it. Let's get into this, because remember when I said the pre-sentencing report? Remember when I said the pre-sentencing report is it's the fair version of how much time they think Diddy can get. Now, let me tell y'all something, okay? There was a lot of misinformation going around, and I don't care because those broke bums needed to pay their bills. However, when it comes to the fact of who lied, who said this, who said that, I said the pre-sentencing report.
You lied. Come on, Tisa. Don't start. There you go, lying again. Everybody know you lied. Like, just move past it, like Umar Johnson did when he got caught lying. Just act like it never happened, but don't keep trying to refute it. Everybody knows you lied.
Is the number one thing to show that what we heard, what we experienced in court, you, me, they, them, her, bodies, what we experienced in court was evidence that the jury just said, we don't care. Again, it wasn't that Diddy didn't do all these horrible things. It's the fact that jury said, we don't care. We don't think that's punishable for a RICO. You know, we don't care. That's basically what the jury was saying. However, the pre-sentencing report came out. That's through the Office of Probate. We're about to get into this article, and you know it's bad because TMZ posted that like, damn, bro. Now, the pre-sentencing report comes from the probation department, not the prosecution. The probation department looks at things as what do you call it? Neutral. Why can't I think? From a neutral standpoint. They say, yeah. Y'all say he's the innocent angel, you doing too much. But then they turn to the prosecution and say, y'all think he's the devil incarnate, y'all doing too much. They look at the facts, they look at all the evidence, they look at witness statements, they look at character statements before and against Diddy. So Diddy's ragtag team of, in my opinion, immoral people, because who would co-sign on an abuser, right? Ragtag team of perceived immoral idiots that wrote in all those character references. The probation department actually looks at that too. And the probation department says, right. Okay. And they look at all the evidence and they say, okay, this is what we think is fair based off of all the evidence. The evidence those pro-Diddy pages didn't want you to hear. The evidence that the pro-Diddy pages said didn't exist.
Yo, what the fuck is she talking about? Yo, she don't know shit about law. Like, yo, the pre-sentence report, or pre-sentence investigation, it just go through the history of the person, you know, history of violent offenses, shit like that. Yeah, with the prosecution is asking for 135 months. Yo, that is like extremely high. You understand? That's extremely high, yo. Ain't no way that's happening. I'm trying to tell y'all. If it do happen, expect lawsuits, expect investigations. Yo, you can't, even with the pre-sentence report, you can't justify giving that man no 11 years for a non-violent consensual sex charge. And he don't have no record. Like, yo, ain't no fucking way, yo. Like, yo, she is good at painting narratives. You said what? Immortality should not really forgive. It's not easy to forgive. Yo, she is good at spinning narratives, because she looks pretty, she talks fast. I think she sniff coke. This is my opinion. But she don't tell a whole bunch of truth. She ain't really involved in that shit.
Evidence that the pro Diddy said everybody was lying except for Diddy's camp, the man on thing. Okay? Now, like I said, you can beat the system, but you never beat the law. When I saw that the probation department had issued a pre-sentencing report recommended between 5 years and 7 years and 3 months, 87 months, I said, oh, the prosecution is going to come out swinging. Remember when I said that based off the language that the prosecution used in the last memo when he was denied bail, saying and they're like, let him go. What's the problem? Diddy's team was like, they lied. They all lied. And the prosecution said when he was asking for bail for the umpteenth time, we think he should be denied bail because we are going.
She makes sense to you? So it just us. You watched our coverage of the Diddy trial. So you was one of them people that went into that went into this trial thinking it was kids involved, and Diddy was going to snitch, and he was ready to take the industry down. You was one of them people. Because the people that follow me, the people that been over here watching us, we ain't never think that. You feel me? So her coverage of this situation made sense to you? Because let me tell you something, right? I read the same paperwork she was reading. Guilty of what, though? You thought he was guilty of sex trafficking? Diddy didn't get found guilty of sex trafficking. Diddy got found guilty of having consensual sex. With prostitutes. Diddy was found guilty of producing porn. Yeah, you wasn't right. Like, if you thought Diddy was guilty of sex trafficking, you was dead wrong. And that's what I'm saying. If you thought that, and you watched the teacher tells, yeah, but he didn't sex traffic anybody, yo. It was consensual, man. I told y'all from the beginning, the only way they was even able to fit this under the RICO statute is because of the organization of it. That's the only way. If you take out the organization of it, they wouldn't even been in charge of a RICO at all. Like, this was one of the weakest cases I ever seen took to trial. But we've been saying that since the beginning, day one. Not day one, but day two. Once them paperwork started coming out about the details, I'm like, yo, what the fuck is this? Yo, like, how they arresting this man, yo, for watching his girlfriends have sex with sex workers, like, and they making it a RICO, and they trying to give him life in prison. Yo, this was a miscarriage of justice, man. Like, yo, that's what this was. And what the fuck happened to the what's-the-com guy? What's the status on his case? Abercrombie and Fitch. They kind of swept that under the rug. I think that shit just was a ploy. They ain't really want to get no time out that, but they allowed him to go to a mental asylum or some shit like that. So he got dementia and shit. But anyway, yeah, you wasn't right. If you thought Diddy was guilty from the beginning, you were all the way wrong. But I understand why you thought that, because the media did a good job of spinning narratives. Tisa Tells played a major role in it. But no, you wasn't right, y'all. And she wasn't right. And she ain't right now.
To ask for a significant departure. Something so big that when he knows how much we're recommending, he gonna run. He's going to try to run. Okay? Now, remember when there were reports on TMZ, when there were reports on all these Diddy fan pages, when there were reports, it's like, oh my God, the government only suggested 24 months, so he ain't gonna get nothing. And I said, that's impossible based off of the government's language. And this is before we even got this or the pre-sentencing report. This was months ago. She lying. It ain't gonna be that much. My boy coming home. He coming home. Well, guess what? That 4th of July party came and went. The bail hearing came and went. That mofo still sitting where he should be sitting, doing figure eights, trying to figure out how he gonna get his kingdom back, talking about trying to make us feel guilty because his grown children still need him to support them. Again, no shade, but Diddy doing free game classes in jail, put you up on game or put you down with game to teach you how to be an entrepreneur. Are you letting your kids join Skype? Because I don't know if daddy gonna come home anytime soon. Now that said, let me do say this, okay? I hope Judge Aaron does what I think is right. Again, nothing in this trial has been normal. That jury decision, if you were sitting in the courtroom and you heard that evidence, that jury decision was not normal. But yet and still, we live in the United States and we must abide by the laws. But that jury decision was not normal, okay?
Yeah.
It looks like the prosecution is saying, baby.
Yeah, how the fuck this decision wasn't normal? Yeah, it was no evidence of sex trafficking. That's what I'm saying. I knew she was gonna lie in this motherfucker. I knew she was gonna lie. There was no evidence of sex trafficking. There were sex trafficked victims. Sex trafficked victims don't organize sex work. You understand what I'm saying? They don't organize sex work. They don't have sex with the sex workers outside of the person that's supposed to be abusing them without that person knowledge. Like, these wasn't victims. Like, I told y'all, I don't know what y'all believe, but I don't believe all people that say they victims. I don't. I think that is a flawed mentality. I think that shit came from Me Too movement. We know that was a play. You feel me? People lie, man. People lie. I'm sorry, but I live in the real world, in reality, and people lie a lot. Shit, I would probably say 70%. You feel me? You know, the lie that's going on in this country, is way higher than the truth that's being told. Shit, I'm gonna take it up a notch. I'm probably say 80%. Matter of fact, listen to this. Listen to this. Prime example. Prime example. Check this out. We're gonna get back to that, because it goes into my point why I don't believe all victims. Look at this shit. Now we can talk about white on white crime if you want. I think we covered that enough though. Look at this shit. Influencer Victoria Arias goes viral after alleged recording shows her admitting to lying about being raped. Let me show y'all who this girl is right here. So motherfuckers watch out for her ass. She vicious. She from Jamaica or something. This girl right here. She like a Cassie 2.0. So somebody recorded this girl. Hold on. No. Let me show y'all. So look, this is what the guy said. This is why he exposed her. A girl did this, I think. A couple years ago, I got told that a guy I know was being falsely accused of rape. He was on bail, and honestly, there was no way he would beat the case because the woman planned it very well. She invited him over. They had sex. Then she went to a bathroom and called the police accusing him of rape. So he got arrested at the scene in the house. While the evidence of the sperm was still inside her, the guy was going to prison for such an evil plan. Not just one count of rape, but 2 counts. He would have gotten 12 years minimum. When I heard it, I felt sick. I had to try to help. I went to her gym and made friends with her and worked my charm. It didn't take long before she eventually started bragging to me about the way she hurts men. I had my phone secretly filming the whole conversation, and the police dropped the rape case against the guy. We live in an evil world. Men really need to be careful. She had 750K followers as some positive influencers when she just rinsing people for money and selling dreams. She looked me in my eye and told me she will never stop hurting men. The whole video is actually 7 minutes long, and the things she went on to say is vile. I couldn't even post all of it on here. Now listen to this girl. Since people want to believe all victims and shit.
No, so their realizations.
I think you shouldn't go past 31 doing the toxic stuff. Yeah, because it's too much energy invested out.
That's what the therapist was saying yesterday. It's like, is it not exhausting? And I'm like, it's not though.
So you're gonna live. You've done for 5 years hurting men. You enjoy it, and you're gonna keep going. But the energy that you're putting into that, you could triple your income. You could be doing other things. You know what I mean? So that's one thing. Two, in all reality, you're killing yourself with a fake rape charge. I'll tell you what, you're gonna have to put in energy to get a fake rape charge, because if it doesn't go according to plan, it'll bounce back on you, and it'll be obviously there are medical.
I've done all this. There's evidence. I've given him my clothes. He backed me. Like we had sex, yeah, and he's denying that he was even there.
How can you do that if you got arrested in your house?
No, so one was for their realizations. So one was for an occasion where he left.
Yeah.
The other time he was there, but he claimed that we didn't have sex, but there was evidence to say that we have.
Alright, cool. You can.
I don't care. I want to take him to the cleaners, babe.
Yeah, but this is what I thought about. This is what I was saying. I thought about him.
And you know I hate him because he's so much like me. Like, it annoys me.
Look, I want to take him to the cleaners.
So listen to me carefully, yeah? Your skill is that you can detect a victim you want and rape them. That's what you do. You enjoy doing that. Rape charge doesn't mean you've got a victim involved.
No, it doesn't.
It just means
I've just got one over. That's
yeah,
all.
but it means you got desperate that you weren't able to hurt him. You pulled a fake rape. You know what I'm saying? So
that's still gonna hurt him. He hates that. And the thing is, he's gonna go out continuing to fuck up girls' lives, yeah? With an assault charge and a rape charge. He'll think twice about what he does next time when he meets the next girl.
Yeah, fair enough.
Think
But
twice
it's
about
a fake rape charge. So what do you want from that?
No, so guy lies for a living. Let him have a taste of his own medicine. That's all. Let him continue lying for a living. That's what he does. He spins stories and sells dreams for a living. End of. So when a story spun on him, let him swallow that pill.
But I get your angle, but then you can't say you won or you was able
It's
to.
not a game. I'm done. I've pulled back. I've done what I've done. I've played my move. I've moved on. Like.
But you weren't able to hurt. The way you usually like to hurt men, you weren't able to hurt him.
Well, I did, because in the relationship, I continued to cheat on him. Remember, a guy lies for a living. Let him have a taste of his own medicine.
Come on, man. Yeah, we don't believe our victims, man. Straight up. These motherfuckers be lying. Now let's get back to Cassie lying ass.
We're going to get you on the back end. And it looks like the pre-sentencing report by the probation officer is saying, baby, get him. They holding the door open saying, he right here, go ahead and get him. You guys, let's get into this report. I have the documents. I'm going to go live to actually read the documents. We'll have a little key if you guys still want to have a pre-game key on what's going on with Diddy. But listen to this. And again, just because the prosecution is urging 11 years, it doesn't mean Diddy's going to get 11 years. Nobody knows. Judge Aaron might let him just go with time served, but based off of the way he's been such a hard line on giving Diddy anything he wants, and he's the one that denied bail 2 times and said he is a violent criminal, I don't know. I tend to think that Judge Aaron is going to rule somewhere in between that pre-sentencing report. Okay, so here's what TMZ is saying. Federal prosecutors are full steam ahead to lock up Diddy, asking a judge to sentence him to more than 11 years in prison following his conviction on prostitution charges. In a new court filing, prosecutors say they want at least 135 months imprisonment, along with a 500K
know
fine.
what this is like?
Now, Judge Aaron is set to hand down Diddy's sentence on Friday in New York. Concrete judge.
Notice this is equivalent to. Remember when Young Thug was ready to take that plea? He was ready to cop out, and the state was offering 40 years or some shit like that. It's the same thing. They're not gonna get that, yo. Remember when they offered Young Thug 40 years? After we watched the trial, we seen the case was garbage. We seen the evidence was lacking. But they still got in front of the judge and said, yo, we want 40 years. That's what this is, man. You know, they just trying to appease the people. Say, look, we tried. You know, we asked for 11 years. And they can ask for whatever the fuck they want to ask for. Yo, they not getting no 11 years. They ain't getting, y'all would be shocked. Like I said, if they get 11 years, or if they get 5 years, I would expect this judge to get investigated.
Go where things are made. Okay, I'll stop. The hip-hop mogul is currently facing a max of 20 years in prison after being found guilty on 2 counts of transporting male prostitutes across state lines, where they engaged in freak-offs that became the centerpiece of his criminal trial. Prosecutors say Diddy's crimes are serious and note similar cases have led to sentences of more than 10 years for defendants who, like him, use violence to put others at fear. They argue that a lengthy prison sentence is needed because Diddy is unrepentant, claiming he admitted to violence and abuse during the trial, but now argues his victims should shoulder the blame. Prosecutors accused Diddy of trying to recast decades of abuse as mutually toxic relationships, adding, but there is nothing mutual about a relationship where one person holds all the power and the other ends up bloodied and bruised. They say his sentence should reflect the substantial psychological, emotional, and physical damage he has inflicted. And let me tell y'all something from their lips to God's ears, because I don't care what none of these broke, morally decrepit, just just rotted soul.
Yeah, why the fuck she gotta be so disrespectful? That's like Umar Johnson calling everybody. Yo, why? I be tripping off the internet, right? And these people. Yo, why would you call them out for their bullshit? They gotta be so disrespectful. You lied. Everybody knows it. Most people saying it. Why everybody gotta be broke and whatever the fuck else she said? Like, why you just can't say I got caught? I got caught lying. You catch a motherfucker doing some flawed shit, well, at least I'm getting money. Like, yo, just nobody wants to take accountability out here, man. You being a fuck boy has nothing to do with you being getting money. It's a lot of fuck boys with money. That don't change the dynamics of your character. Money don't change your character, man. You is who you is.
Hey, let me just tell y'all something. You know what the craziest thing was? If Diddy was broke, and when I say broke, I mean like if Diddy had no money and he had no fame, half of these channels wouldn't even open their mouth to care. Because at the end of the day, it's not the fact that they're for Diddy.
How will we know? That's another dumbass. I don't trust anybody that makes that argument. That is like a cop-out argument. Charleston White does it a lot. How the fuck would we know? If Diddy ain't had no money, and he was broke, how would we know the details of the case? Like, Charleston White does it. They only care because he's a rapper. Like, because it's, he got to follow it. The world sees it. It's happening on the world stage. It ain't because we don't care if it happened to anybody else. If this happened to the dude down the street, and I knew about it, I'd be like, yo, this girl, they doing bad. You feel me? They hitting that man with a one-man RICO for having consensual sex with his girlfriends. Like I've been saying before, Diddy is just, he was a producer. He went from producing music to producing porn. That's it. That's all he did, yo. Like I said, if they was gonna come at the Diddy, what the fuck is OnlyFans doing over there? Is OnlyFans RICO next? If what Diddy did constitutes a RICO, then OnlyFans is operating on a higher level. They need to shut the site down, lock up the people that made it, come after the creators on there, because that's basically all Diddy did. I'm sure in OnlyFans they going state to state having sex. You know, I'm sure, and it's a money element to it. You know, make it even more justified. It's not even a money element. Diddy isn't profiting off of this. He didn't profit a dollar. Throughout the whole trial, you didn't hear not one payment being made to Diddy. Like I could see if he was prostituting these girls. You know what I mean? He wasn't doing that. He just was enjoying them having sex, and he had sex afterwards. Now it was a lot of freaky shit going on, but hey, you shouldn't get life in prison for just being a freak, a consenting adult. That's freaky.
It's the fact that they on their knees begging, ready to open their mouths and
Yeah,
say
for real.
for a penny in their pockets and to get next to clout. But at the end of the day, I
Yeah, I
don't think
know.
it's pro-Diddy. I think it's anti-woman. I don't think
Oh
it's
my
pro-Diddy.
God.
I think they're
Jesus
pro-abuse.
Christ. Dang, here we go with this shit again. All right, we done with her. We done with this. They be trying to force some wild ass narratives, man. It ain't pro Diddy, it's anti woman. God damn.
Listen, that's all.
That is crazy. All right, so let's just look at this letter that Cassie wrote. Can y'all see this? Cassie wrote this to the judge. Is that clear? Can y'all see that? If I can make it bigger. Let's read this. Cassie is out of control, y'all. Like I don't understand this girl, yo. You got 30 million hours, yo. You need to sit the fuck down some motherfucking way. You got what you wanted. You wasn't asking for jail time. You understand? Like that's the shit that pissed me off with Cassie. You wasn't asking for jail time. Now why is she so gun ho? Maybe she knows she did bad. She knows she did bad, man. She knows she was out of line with this whole situation with Diddy. She knows she was complicit. She knows she enjoyed the freak offs. So now it's like one of them situations where you can't turn back now. I mean, she already did too much, and now she just gotta keep going forward because yo, she done wrote a letter at damn near every court date. Every court date, like yo, if you felt this strongly about this man, why didn't you go to the courts first before the lawsuit? Before she called Diddy and told Diddy, before she tried to extort him, because that's what it was. Before she tried to extort Diddy and told Diddy, man, look, I want 30 million hours when I'm publishing this book. Why didn't she just take the tapes, go to the police, get interviewed, and say, man, look, I think I was sex trafficked? Why she didn't do that? I mean, like, yo, none of this makes sense. Now, all of a sudden, every time he go to court, she fucking front and center writing letters and shit. And then she just have a baby, yo. She got a lot more shit to worry about, man. Like, how the kids doing? God damn, she probably still going through my fucking, what the fuck that shit that women go through after they had kids? Postpartum. Maybe that's why. Maybe she going through postpartum, y'all. And she just, still trying to figure shit out. But can y'all see this? All right, so I've been in a cycle of thought and then overthought. What? I've been in a cycle of thought and then overthought writing this letter to you. If there is one thing I have learned from this experience, it is that victims and survivors will never be safe. Now she a victim again. How the fuck is she a victim, yo? Like, this victim word, yo, we gotta, a lot of words, yo, we use. I think we're abusing a lot of words in 2025. Victim, hating, snitching, not snitch. Yo, we are abusing words, man. What else? Patriotic. We just learned that. That's the people is abusing the word patriotic. I don't even think they know what that means. Like, we abusing words, man. Words have meaning, yo. It's not subjective to you. It didn't used to be subjective to your feelings. It meant what it meant. Like, how are you a victim that participated? I would call her a madam, if anything. Like, I mean, if this was a real Rico, yeah, she could have been. Yo, Cassie should have been the second on the indictment. She should have been second on the indictment. All right. Although I can hope for justice and accountability, I have come to not trust anything. I hope that your decision considers the truth at hand that the jury failed to see. For 4 days in May, while 9 months pregnant with my son, I testified in front of a packed courtroom about the most traumatic and horrifying chapter in my life. I testified that from the age of 19, Sean Combs used violence, threats, substance, and control over my career to trap me in over a decade of abuse. He groomed me into performing repeated sex acts with hired male sex workers during multi-day free calls. Yo, that's not the evidence didn't say that though, y'all. The evidence said you enjoyed it, Cassie. Yo, bro, this is stuff. I don't even know if I want to read this. I don't even know if I want to read this, y'all. Because, yo, this is pissing me off already. The evidence say that you enjoyed it. The evidence says you facilitated them. The evidence says that you participated without Diddy. Yeah, I don't think I can read this. Because I was going to... Because it's like, how you even write a letter like this when the evidence... You know what the evidence... At this point, we already heard the evidence. We all heard the evidence. No, but we're going to read it, though. We're going to read it. Shit is crazy. He groomed me into performing repeated sex acts with hired sex workers during multi-day freak offs, which occurred nearly weekly. I was forced into lingerie and heels, told exactly how to look, empowered with drugs and alcohol so he could control me like a puppet. I don't think she wrote this, y'all. This might have been Chat GTP. These events was degrading and disgusting, but you held the tapes. Come on now. Come on now. Yo, that goes into what I've been saying the whole time. This was degrading and disgusting, but you held the tapes for who knows how long. Yo, who holds something that degrades them and they're disgusted about? Who keeps that? Who keeps that? Yeah, she did double back after getting married. Or if she wasn't married, she was in a relationship with him. Who keeps that, man? It might have been Chat GTP. She ain't right. This shit, she's not her real feelings, man. She got on the courtroom and said she still loved Diddy. Hey, man, these ain't her real motherfucking feelings, man. Exactly. That's it. That's all, Ricky. An extortionist. But to say it made you feel degrading. So every day, like where were these tapes hitting? Cause I'm sure every time you walk past them bitches, you should have had a motherfucking mental breakdown of what you actually went through, through this horrifying ordeal. This is horrifying. If you let Cassie tell it. But she kept the tapes for 7 years or however long she kept them bitches. These events were degrading and disgusting, leaving me with infections, illnesses, and days of physical and emotional exhaustion before he demanded it all again. Sex acts became my full-time job, used as the only way to stay in his good graces. Well, who the fuck fault is that? Like, yo, man, come on now. I told y'all from the beginning. Yo, can't nobody quit pro me, man. Straight the fuck up. If I ain't with it, I ain't with it. You can't attach a dollar amount to it. You can't attach nothing to it that's gonna make me change my mind, yo. Cassie sold her soul, man. That's all this was. Like I told y'all from the beginning when we was covering the trial. This was soul selling and buying. Now, if the United States government want to make a law on buying souls, you feel me? Then that's what the fuck they need to do. Yo, but as currently the state that we living in right now, there's no law against selling your soul or buying your soul or buying the soul. And I told y'all what makes it worse. What's up, Chanel? What makes it worse? Who's worse in the situation, y'all? The person that's selling their soul or the person that's buying it? That's the question. I mean, I would think, in my opinion, it would be a person that's selling their soul because there wouldn't be no buyers. If Cassie wasn't hell-bent for money and fame and wanted to be around a lifestyle, yo, Diddy couldn't do that shit to her. Yeah, I'm sure Diddy tried this with women. I'm sure it was women that like, oh, I ain't gonna lie, Diddy, I can't fuck with that. Yeah, man, they might have did it once. It was like, nah, that ain't for me. Yeah, man, that ain't for me. Yo, out of all the females Diddy had, when he got 2 girls to get on the stand, you know he had a rotation. Where was the other girls? Man, for real, where was the other girls, man? Why didn't they feel compelled to testify? Because they knew what the fuck they was doing, yo. And Cassie did this shit for years. Like, all right, people like, she was 19, yeah, but what about when she was motherfucking 28 and still doing it? You feel me? Like, come on, now. She enjoyed that shit. She enjoyed it, man. Where we at? Talking about sex ass became a full-time job, used as the only way to stay in his good graces. Right, for real, Angela. I'm glad there's some women in here that see through the bullshit. I testified that I learned to read Sean Combs' signals, knowing that when he spoke of freak-offs, he was demanding them. Oh my God. So now he took our free will. Yeah, what the fuck? Yeah, what the fuck? Yeah, now he took a freedom of thought. Like, go get the fuck out of here, Cassie. Yo, somebody holler at Cassie. Y'all, I swear, y'all, I need to do the Survivor Cassie documentary. Straight up, yo, because she is tripping. Yo, listen to this, y'all. Yo, she ain't write this. I know she ain't write this. Somebody wrote this shit for her, a publicist or something. I testified that I learned to read Sean Combs' signals, knowing that when he spoke of freak-offs, he was demanding them, and that refusing them meant punishment, losing my car, my phone, or worse. That's a punishment. So now she's a fucking child. Now she's this a grown ass adult. Talking about, yeah, he's gonna take my phone. I'm gonna get the fuck, go buy another one. The fuck, this bitch, you making songs, ain't you? You know, some of them songs sold. I'm sure you had industry friends. You had somebody you could have reached out to. Buy a phone, man. Like, so the fear of her losing her phone or losing her car made her participate in freak-offs? Man, fuck out of here, Cassie. You lying like a motherfucker. And that narrative that Diddy, that she ran from a freak-off in that hotel room, yo, that was never confirmed. That was a lie. They had all these sex workers on the stand testifying, at least 5 of them, on the stand testifying. But you failed to get the most important sex worker? The sex worker that was in the video, that was in the room during the intercontinental hotel fight? You didn't get that sex worker? You would have thought that would have closed the case. That would have closed the case. So that narrative, yo, that Diddy, that she ran from a freak off, and nah, yo, that wasn't true. Because if that was true, they'd have had that person on the motherfucking stand to testify to that, man. He would have been a key witness. That would have been the best witness they could ever had. What's up, cuz? Yeah, but I think 5 years would be high. Yeah, I can't say him get. I can't say him getting no more than 5. I would say 3, but I could see them trying to, I can see them trying to get 5 out of him. I can see that. Wait, where the fuck she at? Losing my car and my phone are worse. He controlled every part of my livelihood and threatened to destroy my reputation by leaking sex tapes. A threat he repeated often. Here we go. Here we go. Yo, it was a lot of extortion going on. So, what's the difference between Diddy threatening to release her sex tapes and her threatening to write a book, a tell-all book, and saying that she wanted $30 million not to do so? Like, yo, how is one worse than the other? How is it she charged with blackmail? Like, how, I don't even understand how she can make this statement. It seemed like it was a lot of threats being handed, on both sides. Like, what makes his threats more vicious than hers? And she actually succeeded. She got the money. She extorted the man, told him, look, I need 30 million, I'm writing a book. He handed over the money. And now she writing letters against him. Like, yo, this is crazy, yo. This is crazy, yo. Somebody need to stop Cassie. Yo, if she's my cousin, I'd get on her ass. I'm trying to tell you, she couldn't be related to me. If Cassie was related to me, I'd have been on her ass. Like, yo, how the fuck you sat around and did all that shit all these years? Enjoyed the lifestyle, because this shit came with perks. You understand? You going to all these exotic places. You on a red carpet. You doing everything in the world. And you participate in the freak-offs that you willingly participated in. Sues the man. Gets $20 million out of him. And now you keep going to court writing statements and shit. Like, man, you out of line, Cass. You out of line, Cassie. You can't come to the next family function. We ain't fucking with you no more over here. Cause you out this bitch geeking. His power over me eroded my independence and sense of self until I felt I had no choice but to submit. When he believed I had wronged him or was not sufficiently responsive, he also threatened people around me and close to me, including my family. I regularly worried that displeasing him meant putting my family and friends' safety at risk. Yo, so what did he do to any family members? Did he slap the shit out of her father or something? Did he beat up her brother? Yeah, like, what did he really do? You know, because this extortion thing that they say he did to her mother, yo, her mother inserted herself in that shit. Did he ask that lady for no money? That was a conscious decision that she made. I'm gonna take a my own mortgage out on the house and I give him 50,000. And he gave the bread back. Yo, this is way too emotional for me, yo. Like, I can't deal with this. Yo, just because you feel something, that don't mean it's true. You understand what I'm saying? Yo, just because you feel something, that don't mean it's true. Like, a lot of these women keep dealing in feelings. I feel like this. But that don't make it facts. That's just your feelings. You understand what I'm saying? You can feel like that you had no choice. You can feel like that he was in control of you. But was he really? You understand what I'm saying? The reality says that. Like, I don't deal in feelings and emotions, you know. I think you're going to make a lot of bad decisions dealing with feeling and emotion. Motherfucker better start dealing with logic and reason. You understand what I mean? Logic and reason, man. Like, she keep talking about what she feel. Like, that don't mean it's true, man. That's just how you felt at the time. I testified how beyond these threats, Sean Combs frequently used violence to get his way. Over the nearly 11 years we were together, Sean Combs would hit me, punch me, stomp my face, pull my hair, and throw my body to the ground against the wall. The jury saw pictures of bruises on my back from Combs kicking me and saw the deep gash over my eye he caused when he slammed me into a bedroom frame. Now, all this is out of order. We can't vouch for none of this. All that shit is out of fucking order. The entire courtroom watched actual footage of Combs when he slammed me into a bed frame. The entire courtroom watched actual footage of Combs kicking me and beating me as I tried to run away from a freak off. This is a lie. This is a lie right here. Like I said, if this actually happened, the ideal witness would be the sex worker that was in the bedroom. He never testified. Never no mention of him other than, oh, he was a sex worker there. So they brought 5 irrelevant sex. Yeah, she was living lavish. They brought 5 irrelevant sex workers to trial when this was the one that they actually need. This one right here could have broke the case wide open. Failed to mention him, failed to bring him. I think that's a lie. People watched this footage dozens of times, seeing my body thrown to the ground, my hands over my head, curled into a fetal position to shield me from the worst blows. This physical violence caused bruises that makeup artists paid for by Sean Combs will cover up, as well as permanent scars all over my body. And that's another thing too, right? Yo, was Cassie actually trying to escape? Now, I ain't talking about the beating. Whatever happened in that room, I'm talking once she was in that room and she left that room. Yo, that didn't look like a woman that was trying to escape, yo. A brutal beating. Like, if he beat her in the room and she ran out, yo, I'm going to go with the narrative that, yo, she left and took Diddy's shit. Now, he shouldn't have beat her for that. You feel me? But I don't think this happened without provocation. You understand what I'm saying? Like I don't think. Well, I know it wasn't no freak off because common sense would say they would bring the person there to testify that they witnessed this assault. You know, or that yeah, it was a freak off going. Diddy and Cassie got into it. Cassie ain't want to do the freak off. She left. That ain't what happened. I'm willing to go with the narrative that yo, she took Diddy's phone. She probably took. I think she took the drugs. To be honest, I think it was drugs in that motherfucking knapsack. She ran off with the drugs. You feel me? Then like I say, he shouldn't have beat her. But if you watch that video of her leaving that hotel room, yo, she wasn't in no rush. If she was in fear for her life, she'd have took the steps. You understand what I'm saying? It's like if it's a fire in the building, with fire safety. What the fuck they see? The fire drill. Yo, you don't take no elevator. If your life is in danger, if you was really scared, yo, you do not take the elevator. Everybody knows that. This is a grown ass woman. Yo, you can't tell me she ain't know that. Yo, she sat there and pressed the button and waited for the elevator to come. That is not a person that's in fear for their life, yo. That is, and the door to the steps is right there. Y'all remember the video? The door to the steps is right next to the elevator. She took the fucking elevator, knowing that a lot of times elevators take time, especially in a big hotel where it's probably a lot of people going up and down the floors. God damn, how long is this bitch? Oh, all right. Yeah, she ain't write this. Ain't no fucking way she wrote this shit. She might have knew. She probably read this when we got it. You heard me? Yeah, I can see that, class. You say Cassie is giving bitter X. Not only that, she named her daughter after him. She named her daughter after him? What the fuck her daughter name is? What's up, Devon? She is giving bitter X. Now I can see this. That's a good observation. I can see this coming from a bitter X. Yeah, I mean, she want to see him down bad. You know, she mad that he moved on. Yeah, I can see that. I can see that. She mad that he moved on because it's really no other way you can explain this. You understand? There's really no other way you can explain this for it to make sense. Like, yo, you got $20 million. You didn't go to the police. You filed a lawsuit. You got your money. Typically, in those situations, you fall back. Like I told y'all, yo, we have never seen this before. Yo, we have never seen somebody get sued and then get charged for it. We never seen that before. Yo, with all the other cases, Bill Cosby, and anybody else, Harvey Weinstein, yo, the lawsuits come after the guilty verdict. The lawsuits come after it's speculation about what's going on. The person get found guilty, and then lawsuits get settled. Yo, we have never seen a situation where a lawsuit has been settled, and then the person go to prison for it or jail for it. Yo, that's how you knew that this trial wasn't right. That's how you knew somebody was pushing the buttons on Diddy, because it was malicious. This was a malicious prosecution, man. And what's going on after is still malicious. Like him not getting the bail is malicious. Whoever writing these letters for Cassie is malicious, because she ain't writing this shit. She ain't writing this shit, man. Ain't no fucking way. All right, hold on. During my time with Combs, I was in a constant state of hyper vigilance, as I was always anticipating demands for sex acts or otherwise fearing retribution for any perceived slight. My descent into substance abuse was directly correlated with his increased control over my body, my money, my freedom, and my free will. I used those drugs to push through the horrifying sex acts he demanded and to numb myself to the physical pain and emotional turmoil I was constantly in. Come on now. Now she ain't like drugs. Cassie was already taking drugs, man. Let me tell y'all who Cassie was, y'all. Cassie wanted to get in the industry. That's what it was, man. Like, she wanted in, yo. Like I told y'all, yo, you can't want in and then complain about what you got to do to get in. You feel me? She wanted in, yo. Cassie was dealing with the producer dude that was 10 years older than her before Diddy, man. when the Christina Corm girl told Cassie leave Diddy alone, she said, "Yo, well, Jay-Z married to Beyonce." That came out in court. So they just let you know the mind frame that she was in. Cassie wanted to get on by any means necessary. It didn't matter what she did. And if that's how you feel, if that's the route you're going, if that's your thought pattern, then yo, how can you complain? How spot what it is? What's up, Kay? How can you then say, yo, I was a victim? No, you wasn't a victim, yo, you was a participant. I mean, you wanted in, your way in was freak offs. Maybe you thought it was gonna be music, but once you got in, they figured out that your musical talent wasn't really, it wasn't top notch. You lacked effort. That's what the Christina Corn, Capricorn Clark girl said. Capricorn Clark said, yo, Cassie she wasn't a hard worker. She didn't work hard. That's why her music career stalled. You was too busy freaking off. But you can't claim victim because you wanted in, you got in, then you realize that, yo, I don't necessarily, maybe 7 years down the line, you realize that, yo, I don't know if, this is really what I really wanted. But you stayed, though. What's up? He said, it's funny how she's so called wrote a letter after the trial in his case was BS from the jump. Yeah, she keep writing letters. This ain't the first one she wrote. She write a letter every time Diddy go to court. That's why they suing her ass. That's probably what's going on. That's why they suing her ass. She ready to kick some of that money back because them sex workers coming for the bread. She burnt a couple of them dudes. She knew she was burning and she dark roomed the dude and made him have sex with her while she was on a period. Man, Cassie's diabolical, man. Cassie diabolical, man. Now I'm talking about, no, you like them drugs. You had your own drug dealer. She had her own drug dealer. While the defense attorneys at trial suggested that my time with Combs was akin to a great modern love story, nothing could be further from the truth. Nothing about the story is great, modern, or loving. This is a horrific decade of my life sustained by abuse, violence, forced sex, and degradation. I spent the last 7 years of my life slowly rebuilding myself, physically getting clean from the drug abuse Sean Combs forced and encouraged. Yo, what the fuck? It's a grown ass person telling me she was forced to take drugs. Cassie probably still taking drugs. And mentally understanding how to live with a seemingly insurmountable level of trauma. The horrors I endured drove me to have thoughts of suicide. Ones I almost followed through on. If not for my family intervention in urging that I seek professional care, I have been in rehab and have taken parts in dozens of types of therapy. What the fuck is that? Modalities? What the fuck is that word? Whatever. To confront, compartmentalize, and cope with the horrific memories of sexual and emotional abuse I endured for nearly 10 years. While what he did to me is always present, I'm slowly learning how to live my life free of fear and horrors I endured. In doing so, I'm fully devoted to my husband and children. Hey, because you got that motherfucking bread now. I bet you is living life. Got that motherfucking 30 mil. I still have nightmares and flashbacks on a regular, everyday basis and continue to require psychological care to cope with my past. My worries that Sean Combs or his associates will come after me and my family is my reality. Yo, why they ain't come after you yet? Yo, I'm all sick of her. Now everybody's scared. Everybody is scared now, yo. Diddy might come after me. Shit. What's up, Philly Talk? Diddy coming after everybody. Diddy like Jason or Freddy Krueger. He might come after you in your dreams. That's probably what it is, yo. Diddy, she dream with a Diddy. You heard me? Yo, Diddy ain't worried about you, man. Diddy got, that man lost damn near a year of his life. That man got 2 young kids, 2 young daughters. And Diddy ain't worried about you, man. He gave you your bread. If that was the case, he could have got you wiped down then. If Diddy was really worried about Cassie, when she asked for that 30 million, When she asked for that 20 million, he could have just put $1 million on her, got her out of there. Cassie died in a car crash. You feel me? Like, yo, Diddy ain't worried about you, man. All this fear mongering you doing, trying to keep the man indicted. I don't think she writing this shit though, y'all. I don't. I have in fact moved my family out of New York. Oh, she get money now. Look, she able to move up. Look what Diddy provided for. She able to move her family out of New York area, and I'm keeping it as private as and quiet as possible. Hold on. I have in fact moved my family out of the New York area, and I'm keeping as private and quiet as possible. What the fuck can be because possible can be because I'm so scared. Maybe she did write this, or maybe they just messed up so it looked like she wrote it. Yo, but that's horrible English. Um, Scared that he walks free, his actions will be swift retribution toward me and others who spoke up about his abuse at trial. As much progress as I have made in recovering from his abuse, I remain very afraid of what he is capable of and the malice and undoubtedly harbors toward me for me having the bravery to tell the truth. No, she lied on the stand, yo. His defense attorney claimed he's a changed man and he wants to mentor abusers. I know firsthand what real mentorship means, and this disgusts me. He is not being truthful. I know that who he was to me, the manipulator, the aggressor, the abuser, the trafficker, is who he is as a human. He has no interest in changing or becoming better. He always he will always be the same cruel, power-hungry, manipulative man that he is. When I came out with my allegations in my civil case, he flatly denied them again and again. It was only after the actual video footage corroborated the exact words of my civil complaint that he issued an insecure apology on the internet. Thanks to the footage in my testimony, this is something he will forever be associated with. Yo, she ain't write this. I'm back saying she ain't write this. Yeah, recipe to the side. What's up, kid? Yo, that's how you can tell this was a play, y'all. They played on Diddy the whole fucking time. That liquor company did this to yo. They played on yo the whole time. Listen to this shit. When I came out with my allegations in my civil case, he flatly denied them again and again. It was only after the actual video footage corroborated the exact words in my civil complaint that he issued an insecure apology on the internet. Thanks to the footage in my testimony, this is something he will forever be associated with. Why would she write that? That sound like you just trying to tarnish the man's legacy and image. It's like that was intentional. Like that video release, that shit was intentional. What's up, Tyron? For over a decade, Sean Combs made me feel powerless and unimportant. But my experience was real, horrific, and deserved to be considered. While the jury did not seem to understand or believe that I engaged in freak offs because of force or coercion, and the defendant used against me, I know that the truth is, and his sentence should reflect the reality of the evidence in my lived experience as a victim. Fucking victim. Reliving in detail the events and the truth described throughout the trial, and this letter caused me tremendous emotional pain. She might as well sue again. The fuck? God damn, is this another lawsuit? Yo, is Cassie going to sue Diddy because she had to write this letter? Hey, get the fuck out of here, Cassie. You playing a game. You probably somewhere in the Hamptons, some motherfucker where with your feet kicked up because of Diddy. I'm trying with all that I am to move on, and I hope that your sentencing decision reflects the strength it took for the victims of Sean Combs. Why the other girl ain't writing? Is Wisconsin baby mother writing a letter too? Alright, get the fuck out of here, yo. I'm about sick of Cassie, yo. Cassie out of control, yo. I swear she lucky I ain't got time. I'd have been put out that Survivor Cassie documentary. I'd have been did it. Matter of fact. Cassie's sex workers Vlad TV. Hold on. They did interviews, man. I ain't even watched none of them motherfuckers. But my man been telling me about the shit that she was doing. I find the computer back and dumb as shit sometimes. I ain't try to watch the whole interview. Let's check this out. Damn.
And Cassie, she told you personally that she was pregnant by you, right?
Well, it was
Yeah, my internet connection is too strong. They always.
I
Be doing
believe
this
it was
shit.
we were
Gotta
just
contact
I
Cindy.
don't think she intended to get pregnant.
This shit too damn dark.
And Cassie, she told you personally that she was pregnant by you, right?
Well, it was I believe it was
Oh,
we
we're
were
gonna
just I don't think she intended to get pregnant. No woman who accidentally
go downstairs. That shit too dark. Y'all gotta see this shit. I haven't watched these interviews, but I know a lot of people are watching. Yo, Cassie wasn't a motherfucking victim. Like, oh, this bullshit that she keep playing, this game she keep playing is fucked up, yo. Like, yo, at this point, yo, Cassie ain't no different than that girl I just showed y'all. The fitness girl from Jamaica I just showed y'all that put the false. I got bit by a mosquito, bitch. That put the false allegations, the false rape on the nigga. Told y'all, yo, we don't believe our victims, man. Everybody no motherfucking victim. And I think adapting that mentality takes away from its real victims. You understand what I'm saying? Adopting that mentality of believe all victims takes away from the fact that it's actually real victims out here in this world. And they not getting the proper attention because we got people like Cassie and others out this bitch lying and putting cases on people that don't deserve them. They say, oh, she doesn't be my family member. I had a link on her ass. Like, yo, you out this bitch suing this man. You out here suing this man. And then go to court and testify on him. And you ain't just testifying on him. Now you trying to make sure he go to prison. Like, god damn, you don't think you did enough? The fuck? You know, like, when's enough, Cassie? Give him the money back. How about that? Give him the money back. Oh shit, I left my fucking thing out there. Give him the money back. I don't want the money. I just want jail, man. Fuck the money. I want his ass to rot in prison for all the things that he done to me. I would respect that way more. And I told you, for what Diddy did to her, as far as like the abuse, she deserves some money. Oh shit, I'm geeking, though. My fucking mind be all over the place. I already got the bitch. My back pocket. But for you to want money in jail, like, yo, that is crazy, yo. Diddy shouldn't have paid her shit. If he knew he was gonna go to jail, she shouldn't have gave her a goddamn thing. He should have made her wait. That man settled. He ain't even seen you through the motions. He could have drugged you out in a long, drawn-out court battle. But instead, he decided that, you know what? I did. I did do some fucked up shit to Cassie. Not no um not no I'm talking about just for the abuse. The physical abuse. Like he did whip her ass. I mean, she deserved payment for all them ass whippings that she got. To want him to go to prison. It's
Gets pregnant and tends to get pregnant. We just went a little bit too far. This one encounter in New York in the Gramercy Park Hotel,
yeah, she
which is
taking it too
crazy.
far,
I can
kid.
even remember where I got her pregnant at. At the time, I was on parole, so I was checking in the parole like every week or every 2 weeks. Remember, you know what I'm saying? But I'm still out in the street. I'm getting money from them, so my lifestyle didn't actually fit my income. If you understand what I'm saying. It really didn't.
Yeah, for
So
real. It's bullshit.
I remember like specifically I go to I go to see Cassie and we have this crazy encounter. Like we probably had sex like 2.5, 3 days. Ecstasy, Molly. This was still pretty early in the relationship. I want to say it was like 2012, 2013. We have this amazing encounter, great time. I leave her. Now, when I leave her, I remember literally I'm going to Harlem because I worked as a contractor. I'm still an independent construction contractor, but I had an office in Manhattan in Harlem. So when I left Cassie after this freak off, I drive to my office. It's 7 o'clock. I got to go to work. There was a tail light out on my pickup truck, and I got pulled over by the damn NYPD. They arrest me for a broken tail light. Ultimately, I get violated by parole for being out before parole told me I could go out, and I get detained for a
Hey,
violation.
look, Key, and she
Now,
asked
on
for
this
it.
violation, I find out Cassie's pregnant. Thinking about it a little bit,
She asked for it. And on the stand, she testified that Diddy made her do it. The sex workers did interviews and say, oh, Cassie asked us to do that, man. That was a special request. I mean,
I realized, wait a minute, you had sex with her. She's 2 months pregnant. This is probably your baby. So I think I did a violation for maybe 6 months, 7 months. I had to do like this military program. It was so bogus and BS. But as soon as I came home, the first thing I did was look for Cassie. I had several phone numbers for her. I called them all. It might have took her 3 or 4 days. She calls me back. She's overseas. She's like, yo, where have you been? I said, yo, I got violated by parole. I was locked up. She says, oh my God, I was looking for you. You don't know how bad I was looking for you. We actually had a really good conversation the first time we reconnected after this violation, being separated for 7 to 8 months. So she tells me she's out of the States and she's like, yo, you know what? I'll be there in a week because I need to talk to you. I'm like, all right, cool. I don't really think she's going to be there in a week. Yo, bro, clockwork. A week later, she texts me. She's in Manhattan. She's in the Gramercy Park Hotel. Can I meet her at 7 o'clock that night?
Yeah.
Okay.
I see.
I get to the Gramercy Park that evening. I remember I walk into the suite. Diddy actually let me in, which was weird because at that time, Diddy didn't never let me in the beginning. But this time I went there, Diddy let me into the suite. He daps me up. Yo, bro, what's up, man? Been a long time. You look good. You look healthy. Yo, where you been? So as I'm telling him, he gives me this look and he's like, yo, bro, she was looking for you. So I said, oh, yeah? He's like, yeah, bro, she was looking for you, bro. Y'all need to talk. So I'm like, all right. Cassie comes out the room as soon as he says that, looking like Cassie, looking beautiful. Me and her reconnect. We hug each other. She sits me on the couch in the living room and she tells me she was pregnant. So I said, well, like, how do you know it was mine?
Yeah,
typical women. I know it was you. You were the only guy around that time. It wasn't Sean. I know it was you. She tells me all of this to my face. She cries.
Yeah,
she tells me she doesn't believe in abortion, but she only had the abortion because she didn't know who I was and how to find me. And I believed her.
It might still be turned over on appeal, just like Melly case, whenever that shit end.
Her from the emotional response she gave me, the crying, the look of regret that she did it, I actually believed her. You know what I'm saying? So I sat there myself, and I'll be honest, I was a little teary-eyed myself because no one really likes to see beautiful women cry. And she's crying about something that affected both of us. I kind of felt something towards it. So I'm like, damn, all right, it's like a sad situation. But the craziest part, bro, is I'm thinking she just called me to tell me about the pregnancy, and I'm leaving.
No,
as I get up to leave, she's like, "Where you going?"
After this. No, after she had sex with the sex workers, then Puffy was having sex with her.
said, I'm leaving. She's like, oh, no, absolutely
It's
not,
like a
Sugar D.
prelude.
I've been waiting for you. Because she used to call me Sugar D. She's like, I've been waiting for you. No, 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 no. You're not going nowhere. So I said, are you serious? Like, what about getting pregnant? She says, no, I'm on birth control now. We're okay. You're not going anywhere. She says, baby, does he have to leave? Diddy says,
That
of
is
course
crazy
not.
though.
So, bro, me and her literally restart
See,
right
yo,
where
these
we
people,
left off.
he thought he was in a relationship with Cassie. Like that's the crazy. Like these things went on for so long that some of these guys built the attachment to this girl, man. Crazy, it's
Before the
crazy,
end of
but
the
it
night, we
happened.
having unprotected sex again like nothing happened. And, bro, this went on for years after I impregnated her and she had an abortion.
And if I'm not mistaken, Cassie, she's the one that gave you Molly for the first time, and Diddy, he's the one that gave you the pink cocaine, right?
Yeah.
What?
Cassie kind of drugged me, like I told you.
What? She out here handing out drugs? Yeah, that don't sound like a person that, if you let her tell it, Diddy got her tricked into this drug life. Now she tricking other people into it. Cassie was a co-conspirator. If Diddy was an enterprise, if Combs Enterprises was a criminal organization, then Cassie should have been at the second in that indictment. She should have been at the top. Her and Diddy.
About earlier, Cassie actually did drug me, but Diddy's drugging me was with that Tunchi stuff. I believe it was Tunchi now because of what it did to me. And the funny part is that I was talking to one of the
Oh,
male
yeah, drugging
providers
people
today,
and
and
shit.
he actually told me when he heard me
Yeah,
talking
shit,
about how Diddy
co-defendant, man.
drugged me, he remembers how Diddy drugged him. Diddy did this to a lot of people. Like the real Rico was the male prostitutes. It wasn't Jane and Cassie. It was the male prostitutes who Cassie, Jane, and Diddy.
Yeah, but I said that. I think these niggas be watching Keeping G News. I ain't gonna lie. Who else said that? Who else said, yo, the only victims is the sex workers? If there's any victims in this, it's the sex workers, man. But they didn't get painted out as victims. Cassie wasn't no victim.
Manipulated into these situations because we all have the same story. I'm pretty sure you could agree because you've interviewed what 2 or 3 of us by now. We pretty much all got the same story. Diddy gave me the Molly, basically telling me that if I didn't take it, Cassie would get mad. So now I only took a little bit of it because, again, I'm not a big drug person and I really just wanted to satisfy him and get him out my face. So I said, all right, give me a little piece. It's Diddy. He's a billionaire. I've known him 5 or 6 years by now. He's never tried to hurt me. We had that one encounter where he asked me about the homosexual thing, but he paid me $5,000 and never did it again. So I really had no reason not to trust him. I take this substance, bro. I don't even think it took 30 minutes. This thing rocked me, bro.
Yo, come on, yo,
It
but
rocked
that's
me. I
not being
remember
drugged, yo. Like he didn't drug you, my nigga. That's a horrible use of being drugged. Being drugged is giving drugs without prior knowledge. He gave you the drugs and you took them, my nigga. He didn't drug you, bro.
I was hot. I was sweating. I was throwing up. I couldn't walk. I crawled across a 5-star hotel room to the bathroom to throw up in the toilet. I was so weak. This might have went on maybe 30 minutes, bro. I just threw up everything I had inside of me. Even water, liquid, everything came out. I finally get up. I managed to regain my strength. I go back in the living room. I'm sweating profusely, bro. Diddy comes out. First thing he notices, what's wrong with you? I say, yo, whatever you gave me, bro, not good. It's me up. I need to go. Cassie comes out. She sees me. She says, oh my God, what's wrong with you? I said, yo, I need to get out of here. Whatever he just gave me, it got me twisted. She says, yo,
Yeah,
what
for
did you
real.
give him? He said, I gave him the pink stuff. I gave him some Molly. And she looked at him and just did this. And I said, yo, he said he gave me Molly. I never had nothing like this. She said, it's because it's not Molly. And I was like, what? But I'm so high, I can't really do anything about it. Because, bro, I was out of it. I could barely grasp my reality at this point. So they tell me, be careful. Diddy gives me like $1,500, which is the lowest amount he ever paid me. He gave me $1,500 after he drugged me with a substance that completely tore me from limb to limb. They tell me to be careful. They direct me to sneak out of the Trump International in Central Park West through
What's
the
up,
back
nigga?
staircase, which I did. Bro, I'm completely out of it, bro. I can barely stand. I'm sweating. It's December. It's December, bro. I got a coat on. I'm pouring sweat in the middle of Manhattan. Not a good look for a black man, bro. Not. I can't catch a cab. The cab drivers are seeing me. They riding by me. I'm nervous as hell. I can't figure it out. So I start walking down I believe it was Broadway I tried to get to. I started walking towards Broadway, bro, just to get out the area. By the time I realized where I was at Union Square. Um, uh, yeah, messed up, bro, sweating. I was so out of it at this point. Getting to Union Square, I found like a little alcove on a side street. And I don't know if you've ever been in New York and you see like the homeless people sleeping in the side street in like a little alcove or like a department store, like a Macy's exit door or something. That was Dave, curled up in the corner of like a Macy's exit door. It might have been Old Navy I was at, actually, in the corner like a homeless man, sweating, not being able to figure out what the hell I'm doing. I called my bro. I said, yo, bro, I'm messed up. I need you to come get me in the city. I share my location with him. Like 30 minutes later, he gets there. He says, yo, you look terrible. He took me to the doctor. The doctor wanted to run all these tests on me, but I got scared because I knew what I had taken. So I leave. And I spend like the next 3 or 4 days just trying to recover and get it back. The other guy I talked to, he told me the same experience happened to him when Diddy drugged him. The exact same effects that I went through, whatever Diddy gave him, the same thing happened to him too. Yup.
Insane. And to go back to Cassie, you said that she used to have the sheets all soaked up, right? During freakos?
Yeah, bro. Like that was the biggest expense. I would see like their incidental bill had to be crazy, from the baby oil on the floor to the fires to the multiple sheets, because there used to be fires, bro. Like baby oil and material is flammable. You know what I'm saying? So we got all of this baby oil all over the sheets. We're using these little tea candles to light the room. You know, we're not having delicate sex. It's passionate, it's physical. We're knocking stuff over. One time, a few times, we would knock over tea candles. The comforters would catch on fire.
God
The
damn.
rug would catch on fire. Some of the couch would catch on fire. So things were always.
But they was ever having a wrestler, fucking WWE. Hey, no. Like I said, it was that bitch catching on fire. Yeah, I told you them freak offs got intense. You know, y'all. Get the fuck out of here. Yeah. Nigga said, man, shit was catching on fire. Man, vases got broken, lights got cut out. For a UFC match. It's crazy. Hey,
Burning
no.
in these freak offs from the baby oil, candles, and materials. It was like those. It's really sad, bro, because you know when you go through situations like this, there's certain things you can never forget as much as you want to. You know what I'm saying? So this is kind of one of those things. As time went by, I was kind of able to displace it until Shorty did all of this, Cassie, where she brought it back all up. So now we have to relive it all, and it comes back like it's fresh trauma now.
And Cassie told you personally that she was the best she ever had, right?
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
She probably said that
It
to
was after
everybody.
that orgy with Daniel Phillips. She could.
Cass had the bitch running game. Yo, she probably said that to every single one of them. You know you the best I ever had, right? Little nasty ass. Yo, Cassie out of line, man. She gonna lie to that man. Build his ego all up. Tell her you the best I ever had. How many people you told that to, Cassie? Hold up, though, y'all.
Best D she ever had in her life. I said, word? He was like, yeah. I said, all right, you know, cool, whatever. What am I supposed to say? This is her man, that's their situation. The funny part is, bro, I had to go to work right after this. I had been there 2 days. I had a job. I'm a regular person. I go to work. I'm exhausted. My manager sees it all in my face. At the time, I was an optician on the Upper East Side. And I believe it was like a luxury eyewear chain. So she says, yo, what's wrong with you? My manager knew I was sleeping with Cassie because I used to leave work to go sleep with Cassie. And I used to pay my manager like $200-300 of what Diddy paid me to hold me down. Like she's not making $200 or $300 a day just to hold somebody down to go do something. So I'd be like, yo, Brenda, what's up? Let me give you $400 or $500, $300. Just hold me down, finish the day. Let me go do this. All right, bet. So I get to work that morning. I tell Brenda I saw Cassie. She's like, oh my God, okay, how much you want? How much you gonna give me to go to sleep? I think I gave her like $300 or $400. I go in the back, I go to sleep. Couple hours later, my phone is ringing. Brenda actually brings me my phone like, yo, somebody's calling you off the hook. I answer the phone. It's Cassie. Yo, what you doing? I'm like, trying to sleep. I'm at work. She says, yo, listen, I need more. That was great. I said, are you serious? She said, yeah, I was asleep all this time. I got back up. Can you come back uptown? I said, I'm at work. She said, so what? Just leave. Didn't you say you could leave before? You've left other times. I said, well, I got to pay my manager. I don't really have it to pay my manager. She said, what you mean? We just gave you
Look at her,
$8,000
yo.
and I'm going to pay you to come back.
So sound like no
I'm
victim.
sitting there. My manager is right in my face, bro, listening to the call. She's like, go, go, go. So I said, all right, I'll be up there in a little bit. She says, you got to come now because we're leaving tonight. So I pay my manager another $300-400. I go back. Soon as I get there this time, Cassie opens the door. She hugs me real tight. We're sitting in the living room. She says, yo, that was great. You might have been the best D I ever had. And I said, well, he said that to me. Thank you. She says, no, I'm serious. She says, listen, I want to talk to you. I said, all right, we talking. She says, well, I remember I told you about you and the last guy. Whoever won was going to be my guy. I said, yeah. She says, you won. I said, okay. So she says, listen, why don't we do something exclusive? Like, you show me your test results every month. You can come satisfy me. Like, we like you. We want to keep you. You're clean. You're safe.
Hell
so
yeah.
she basically makes me this offer to be her permanent provider. Wink, wink. Like she's telling the truth and there's no one else. We now know there were many other people. But she basically tells me that I'm going to be the only guy because I beat Daniel Phillip. I'm like, all right. So that's kind of what started my exclusive relationship with her. That.
And she wrote a song for you, right?
Yes, well, she told me she wrote the song. She actually used to sing it to me like every time we had sex for probably a year. It's a song with French Montana on the Cassie Super album called Addiction. And I didn't believe her, bro. I swear to you, I didn't believe this girl wrote me no song. I'm like, yeah, get out of here. Yeah, right. But one time I remember I was with her and she's on top of me like during the actual encounter.
Nigga, your green is grass, yo. She wrote me a song, right? Yeah, she's the second team. Stupid ass nigga. Hold up. What the other one at? Yeah, I'm glad I ain't never watched these. I ain't watched none of these motherfuckers. Yeah, this nigga crazy. Yeah, where yo. So. Yeah, she had sex with one of these guys on a period, man. She dark rimmed him. Yeah, he was a kid. That man was in love. Your fell in love. I'm in love with a stripper. Your fell in love with a motherfucking. She was, I don't know what you want to call her. Whatever she was.
Happy to have y'all both on the platform, man. For the people that's not familiar with y'all, introduce yourself to the people.
All right, man. I'm Clayton Howard. I am the gentleman who had the courage to sue Cassie for being part of the conspiracy that
my fucking internet is stupid today, man.
Diddy recently beat.
And I'm Daniel Phillip. I'm the guy that everybody's been looking for, trying to find out who I am. But yeah, I was also one of the guys that was subpoenaed to testify against Diddy in the Diddy and Cassie trial. I was one of the guys that was intimate with Cassie.
Out of curiosity, how did both of y'all meet?
We met inside of a Diddy freak-off, which is a chapter in my book. Where the two of us had you know what? We'll just say it for what it is. We had an orgy with Cassie. No homosexual activity involved. Got to say that for the record. Diddy called each one of us independently to come meet Cassie. Neither of us were told about the history of each other, but basically we were brought together for a competition to see who could last allegedly be her main she called it.
Yo, that's funny though, because he describes it that way, Art. But to me, I was there before him, and they asked me if it would be okay for them to bring somebody else. I didn't even know whether it was going to be like another guy or whatever, but he shows up. They never mentioned anything to me about a competition, man. Apparently, they mentioned to him that we was having some big competition or whatever to see who lasts the longest. But I'm either way. I'm happy that I didn't take that consolation prize. Let's just say that.
So take me through that exact day. Like, what exactly happened?
It's just weird, bro. Like, I mean, you can start if you want, man. It's strange. I'll say that and let you do your thing, bro. All right. So I get a phone call from Cassie this day. Like, hey, what's up? And like, she's beautiful. She's intelligent. I have been sleeping with her for years at this point. And truthfully, considering the way the situation worked, every time I used to see her number come on the phone, it was like, cha-ching, payday. So I see her call this day. I'm like, okay, band off. We going to G off today. Cass is calling me. So when I get on the phone, normally when I get on the phone with her, she's like friendly, she's affable, she's inviting. This time, however, she's the same thing, but she throws in, "Hey, would you mind if another guy was here?" Now at that point, I thought I was the only guy.
Decision that was.
So naturally, and I think I told you this the last interview, I was kind of hurt. Like, who is another person? So she starts explaining to me, and she literally lays it down like this: that she has two guys. And her and Diddy want to get these guys together to see who's the best because he doesn't want her to have two guys. He wants her to have one guy.
Look,
so she literally puts this situation before me, kind of making it seem like
they have freak off competitions. Like, oh, come on, Cassie, you out of line, man. Cassie, she need to recant that letter.
You either you're gonna get fired. Realizing that situation, trying to protect my income stream because I did consider her an income stream at the time. I had to strap up and go in for war, And that's how when I got there, I came across this brother. So I'll let him take over, then we can mingle. Yeah, man. Yo, this is just weird, bro. Like, first off, it's weird as to already have another man in the room while you having sex with a woman, but like it's a strange dynamic to have Cassie be as visually like stunning and sexy as she is, and then a part of you was like, I really want to go in and do this, but then the other part of you was like, this motherfucker in the corner over here dictating how to do this and how to do that is like really like pulling me in the opposite direction. So you take that and then you add another guy to the mix, and it just gets real strange, man, especially once he becomes like active and you fall off and you're just sitting there watching like, yo, I like it's just weird, bro. I don't know how else to explain that, man. It is weird. Bro, you ever had one of those cars have a limiter on it, like you can't go past a certain speed? I mean, you bought this because it goes crazy fast, but you gotta do 100 miles on that bitch before it actually opens up and allows you to go all the way. That's what it feels like. Feels like you got a limiter on it and you can't do your thing, bro. You know what the worst experience, the realization, it wasn't even the worst experience. I want to say the eye-opening experience. That's a better thing to say, is when I walked into the room and he was in front of her with his penis in her face. I was heartbroken, yo. Because that's when the realization that she had other men doing the same thing I was doing to her and she was doing to other men, that's when it hit me right there when I saw him. And she was loving it. Like, she's there. She's all engaged. This guy's, penis is in her face. Diddy's sitting over in the corner. I'm sitting on this couch. I think it was a chair there because we was in the bedroom. I'm sitting on the bedroom just drinking because honestly, I messed up. I got to get drunk just to continue because literally I'm thinking I'm making love to this beautiful woman for 2 years. And now I see that not only am I doing it, but he's doing it too. And he looks like he's having sex with her pretty much the same way I am. So it was definitely an experience I had to adjust to in order to get through it. Yeah, it's interesting that you said that too, bro, because the one thing that gets you out of this is Cassie is so relatable, like in person, like she's just a down ass. Like like I was just talking to Clay before the interview, man. She used to lay on my lap on the couch, just shooting the talking for like hours while Diddy was doing whatever the hell he was doing in another room and whatnot. And, you know, like, so when you go from feeling like you're building this kind of a friendship, relationship, connection, and she's telling you, you're the only one I'm doing this with. Yeah, you feel a little betrayed, a little butthurt, bro. when another dude, no pun intended, bro, but like,
I was gonna say that too.
you know what I mean? You feel a little bit violated, bro. Like you know, it sucks. It's not a good feeling, my man. It's not a good feeling at all. Yeah.
So could I ask something real quick? Can you say that you were just as disappointed when you saw me as when I saw you?
Hell yeah, I hated you, bro. I was like, who is this motherfucker coming on my session? Like, yeah, I didn't like that at all, bro. I ain't like it at all, man. Like, and yeah, but after a couple of breaks and we started talking a little something like, yo, this is crazy, right? And weird and whatnot. And, you know, like we started shooting this, realized we was cool and whatnot. And, you know, that aggression toward each other, I guess, kind of started like dissipating a little bit. But
so our friendship was built inside of a P. Diddy freak off.
Yeah.
No homo.
Which that shit sound crazy, bro.
It's the truth.
How long was the sessions?
2 days.
2 days. About a day and a half, 2 days. Yo, bro,
Yeah, bro.
They used to go in, bro. You know, it's kind of funny because the session only ended. Like my brother over here was tired, bro. Like we had been up like 2 days. Neither of us was really indulging in any drugs with them at the time, so we were like regular, and they were high off of
Cassie
ecstasy.
wasn't no motherfucking victim, yo. But hold up, yo. This nigga Donald Trump is over this bitch talking. You gotta trip out this nigga before we leave. Hold up, yo. Why my phone? Why this shit ain't charging? Oh shit, I got my shit charged up. God damn it. We gotta get to Donald Trump, man. It's on 14%. Yeah, I just want to show y'all. Cassie ain't no motherfucking victim. This nigga down here. Hey, yo, Donald Trump speeches, you gotta watch them bitches. Them motherfuckers is hilarious, man. Like, he want to meet like a Umar Johnson. It's naturally funny. Get a good laugh off the nigga every time he speaks. Donald Trump. We can't let people throw around that word. I call it the N-word. There are 2 N-words, and you can't use either of them. The fuck? Yeah. What the fuck is the 2 N-words, yo? Do anybody know the 2 N-words you can't use?
And a really stupid person that works for him mentioned the word nuclear.
Oh, nuclear.
I won't say about the 2. But to the coast of Russia, just to be careful, because we can't let people throw around that word. I call it the N-word. There are 2 N-words, and you can't use either of them. Can't use either of them.
What the fuck is this thing talking about?
Frankly, if it's up to use, we have more than anybody else. We have better, we have new, but it's... And
Yeah, what the fuck are they talking about nuclear war? You can't use 2 N-words in the in the dictionary that you know in the vocabulary that you can't use, right?
like in Venezuela, you've seen the boats go.
Hold up, yo. What the fuck up? Hold on, yo. This nigga Donald Trump is crazy. I mean, not bad. Can't use that word. Man, sleep to Florida, man. Appreciate it. Make sure you subscribe if you're new. YouTube playing with our numbers lately, y'all. Now down like what we did on white crime, man. I think YouTube frowned upon that. You know, they been trying to slow our numbers down, but it's cool though. You know, we'll get back on it next September.
So, ladies and gentlemen, join me in welcoming the 45th and 47th President.
Who the fuck is this nigga? Fuck about weed.
As the Department of War. I know Pete spoke about it. He gave a great speech, I thought. Great speech. I don't want him to get so good. I hate that. You know? No, I hate it. I almost fired him. I said, you can't, I don't want to go on after that. No, he gave a great speech, but he talked about Department of War. We were sitting there. I said, didn't it used to be called the Department of War? And he goes, yes, sir. They changed it like in the early 50s. So we won the First World War. We won the Second World War. We won everything in between and everything before that. We only won. And then we went, in a way, woke. That was probably the first sign of wokeness. And we changed it to defense instead of war. And I said, what do you think? How do you think if we changed it back? Would that be a nice idea? And Pete loved it immediately. Some people thought about it. You know, they gave it a little thought. But in the end, we did it. And I have to be honest, it's so popular. I thought it would be met with fury on the left, but they're sort of giving up, I must be honest with you. They've had it. They've had it with Trump. They've been after me for so many years now. Here we are. Here we are. Come to the White House anytime you'd like. Now they've given up. A lot of bad people. But all over, that's been so popular. It's been very popular. I really thought that we were going to have to sort of fight it through. There's been no fight.
Trump is a gang
There's been no
leader.
fight.
He's the leader of the
Like what I
Republicans.
called the Gulf of America, because to me it was always the Gulf of America. I could never understand. We have 92% of the frontage, and for years, actually 350 years, they were there before us. It was called the Gulf of Mexico. I just had this idea. I'm looking at a map. I'm saying, we have most of the frontage. Why is it Gulf of Mexico? Why isn't it the Gulf of America? And I made the change, and it went smoothly. I mean, we had a couple of fake news outlets that refused to make the change. And then one of them, AP, took us to court, and we won. And the judge, who was a somewhat liberal judge, said, the name is the Gulf of America, because AP refused to call it the Gulf of America. They wrote, they're not a good outfit, by the way. They call it the Gulf of Mexico. I said, Gulf of America is the name. And the judge actually said that, in fact, you can't even go into the room because what you're doing is not appropriate. The name is the Gulf of America. Google Maps changed the name. Everybody did, but AP wouldn't. And then we won in court. How about that? Isn't that so cool? The Secretary Hexa beautifully described the name change reflects far more than the shift in branding. It's really a historic reassertion of our purpose and our identity and our pride. That's when we go with the word war. And you know, we want war because we want to have no wars, but you have to be there, and you know, sometimes you have to do it. I have settled so many wars since we're here. We're here almost 9 months, and I've settled 7, and yesterday we might have settled the biggest of them all, although I don't know, Pakistan, India was very big. Both nuclear powers, I settled that. But yesterday could be the settlement in the Middle East. That hasn't happened for 3,000 years. I said, how long have you been fighting? 3,000 years. So that's a long time. But we got it, I think, settled. We'll see. Hamas has to agree. And if they don't, it's going to be very tough on them. But it is what it is. But all of the Arab nations, Muslim nations have agreed. Israel has agreed. It's an amazing thing. It just came together. War is very strange, you know. You never know what's going to happen with war. The easiest one of them all is Putin. I said, number one, it's a war that would have never happened if I were president, if the election weren't rigged. If I were president, that war would have never happened. Not even a little chance. And it didn't happen for 4 years. But I knew Putin very well, and I thought that would be easy because I know him so well. Well, that one turned out to be the hardest of them all. We had some that were not settlable, and they all got settled. So if this works out, that we did yesterday, with the Middle East, then that's more than a war. That's lots of wars. That's all combined. That's a lot of wars. Many of you were over there in many different capacities in many different countries. That's a big part of the earth. But if that works out, it would be 8+. I'm going to give myself 2 or 3 for that one. And then we just have the one to settle, and we have to settle it up with President Putin and Zelensky. Got to get them together and get it done. But the only way we can do that is through strength. I mean, if we were weak, they wouldn't even take my phone call. But we have extreme strength. We had the horror show in Afghanistan, which is really the reason I think that.
Oh, fuck down what I'm talking about. Yeah, I gotta ready to get my kids. So how can he man a freak off? But remember during the trial came out that she wanted to freak off. Yeah, I know, yo. Cassie love that shit, man. I don't know why she trying to, she's trying to hide her freakiness. It's already out for the world, man. We know. Don't need to worry. Cassie, we know, man. We know how you like getting down, man. You ain't the only one. There's probably a lot of that shit going on out here in the world, man. I was sitting back trying to act like she was a victim. It's crazy, though, man. That shit is crazy. She ain't a motherfucking victim. We ain't never thought she was a victim. Ain't no motherfucking victim. But we gonna be going live later on. Hopefully YouTube let us get some rhythm. They been playing a dirty game with us. But it is what it is for real. It is what it is. Yeah, but I gotta get my kids from school. Make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Never let keep you new. And I'm out.